things that I don't like, including, this is a program to take a citizen to lunch. If you look at the budget in there, there's $3,000 for emergency transportation for someone who rides a bike to work and needs to get home in a hurry, or takes a carpool and needs to leave before business hours are over. $3,000 a year for that. And for lunch to get these folks together, $5,000. I think we got our priorities mixed up.
Not we.
Thank you.
Which brings up a good point. Next part of this is the interlocal agreement. And is it all right if we talk about that part of it, or do you want to just wait? Okay. With this interlocal agreement, this may obligate us, if we stay in the interlocal agreement, that may obligate us to have a good faith effort. And if anybody takes a close look at where we're likely to go with this, either gutting it or ignoring it, they're probably going to say we're not making a good faith effort. And they could say, well, you guys have to start refunding us any of the monies that come to our portion of the budget, which, by the way, for everybody's interest, is $213,000 for this program and the interlocal agreement. So if that's the case, if we're really not interested in being part of the interlocal agreement and we don't need the money to fund this unfunded mandate, we might want to consider backing out of the interlocal agreement. And we should consider the ramifications of that. Because I don't know if that interlocal agreement is required by state law, or if that's just a way for us to get money.
Yeah, well, I would imagine, Michael, we could ask the question, certainly even the city of Vancouver has an out in this that's right there in the interlocal. They can unilaterally terminate all or part of the agreement or reduce the scope of work in the budget if there's a reduction of funds. So.
Well, that's partial out, yeah. Yeah.
But if it's put in there for one of the entities, it's a green.
Cool.
Let me see if I can capture something. There's a lot of substantive discussion. There are a few questions. Maybe a couple of them are legalistic questions. We ought to have a sense of, well, what are the consequences if we don't adopt this or don't enter into the interlocal agreement? And my sense is bring this back to the next work session informally. I see Joanne keeping some good notes, and I think that we can probably get answers to those. But then the kind of philosophic question about whether you want to participate or not is really yours. It's a proposal of a path forward on this.
Once we know the consequences of passing it or not passing it or gutting it, if we do pass it, then I think we'll have a better idea, and like Rod mentioned, if this puts in jeopardy the funding for East Street, we sort of know where, and I doubt that would happen from my understanding, but it's a very valid question, and one that we should answer before we start messing with this code.
That's kind of where I'm at, where just sign it off, move on. Just not one of those that I think you don't want to wake that sleeping dog.
But I just don't want to put anything on the code that oppresses our people, even if we're not planning on using it now, because government is force. There's no such thing as just a good suggestion by government. This is force, whether we use it or not.
If you wake up the dog, though, maybe he has to send somebody out to enforce this thing.
Yeah, that's in the next one. Jim and Joanne, is the entire amount, all of the budget is covered by WashDOT, is it not? Isn't that done through a grant through the state?
I'm
At least currently?
I think so, and regarding the interlocal agreement as well, I think it was staff's purpose to use that agreement to establish some kind of mechanism so that we could maintain compliance. Obviously they have the resources, City of Vancouver has the resources, and we really don't in-house. So with that interlocal, it kind of helps us out as a small entity, but I think you're right.
Right.
Did we have anything budgeted for this? Dollars? I mean, we're obviously spending some money with staff playing with this thing, but is there anything in the budget that addresses this at all?
Not that I'm aware of specifically, no.
Because other than staff time, there's not an outlay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a grant through the Department of Transportation.
Bring it forward Monday, don't bring it forward Monday?
No, we need some answers before we. be kind of
First
black.
session of March, is that okay? All right.
Took some good notes with
Good,
all
thank you.
the information council wants.
Wallace
Put it all together
Engineering.
for you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I did have a request. We do have a member of the local community who would like to speak before the council. I realize we usually have council comments at the end of our work session, but I think this is something that bears some discussion.
I'm Susan Holbrook, I'm from Pendleton. I'm also part of Two River Community Group, and 5 of our members were part of the DREC. We are focusing now on the Main Street market, and we would like to know if the city would be able to participate in a few things with us. We want to have the market July through September. We would shorten it. We do have 16 vendors who have expressed interest at this time. We're looking for, of course, volunteers, the use of Reflection Plaza, and help with some marketing issues, the bulk rate mailing mainly, so that we could do our mailers. We're in the process of constructing the website, and we would like to have a city link for that website.
What day of the week?
It would be Saturday, same as normal.
I actually have had one meeting with Susan and some of the associates, so this is the, I mean, honestly, this is the old DRIC. I mean, we've all kind of been burned by things that have happened to all of us in the past 6 or 8 months. And I think DRIC is responsive the way we have been responsive. They realize that there's not gonna be any more funding from the city, and yet they came to me and said, we really would like to be focused on citywide events. We want to do volunteer organizing, we want to do fundraising, we want to do events. And the one event that we think we can do and that we really cherish is the market, you know, the farmer's market. And I think this offers some great collaborative possibilities between citizen groups and, you know, municipal government. They can offer some great potential to get citizens engaged, to get community leaders, and they're all volunteer. So the one meeting that I've had, I expressed to them that I didn't think there was any way that we could involve paid staff time for any of these events. But yet, I just think if we really want to have events, this might be a great opportunity for us to collaborate, assuming that all the doors are open, that we have a good relationship, that we talk to each other, that we understand how we're gonna work back and forth, what the limits are, and even sign a contract if we have to.
My only concern, other than Susan, I'm glad you're here tonight, but over the past years, DRIC has operated